Good afternoon. In order to be able to find two standard deviations above the mean, we first need a mean and a standard deviation. So how do we find the mean? Simply add up all of our data set and divide it by however many there are. So 9 plus 13 plus 16 plus 19 plus 23, and that will give us 16 as our mean value, or mu, as we say. So this just happens to be our median, the middle value. However, that's not always going to be the case. We just got lucky this time. So once we have our mean value established, we can now solve for our standard deviation. So how do we do standard deviation? We take the square root, and I'm going to do sigma for standard deviation, square root of our sum series of each value in our data set, so x1 minus our mean value. And we square that all over n minus 1. So standard deviation equals the square root of our sum series of each number minus the mean squared. So we take 9 minus 16, and then take that negative number, square it, and then divide that all by 4 because our sample size is 5. And then we take the square root of that. So standard deviation is just the distance, the average distance of each number away from the mean. And we want to square it to get it to positive because we can only measure distance in positive, and then we do the square root to undo it in the end. So if it seems tedious doing it by hand, if you have a TI-84 calculator, you can put any data set into the lists on the stat button and go to edit. It should be the first option. And then you can type in the numbers there into list 1. And this is extremely useful for large data sets. So once you have list 1, you can press the stat button and go over to calc, one variable stats, which should be the first option. Verify that it's list 1, calculate, and it will give you all the statistics, including the mean and the median and the standard deviation, the sum of all of them. So it will give you all the statistics instantaneously. You don't need to calculate it by hand. So we have our standard deviation, which the calculator will say under SX will be 5.385. And they want it to several decimal places, 3 should work for this. So 2 standard deviations above the mean, you just take the mean and add this twice to it. So 16 plus 2 times 5.385 will give us the value that is 2 standard deviations above. So quickly calculating that, that will be 2 times 5.385 plus 16. That'll be 26.77. So if we were to normalize this, well, we have 5 values, so we can't really normalize it. But if this was a normal distribution, this would have a z-score of 2. That just represents how many standard deviations above the mean that it is. So this is the fundamental way of being able to calculate this problem, find the mean, then the standard deviation, and then just count however many above the mean that turns out to be, in this case, 26.77. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you need any guidance on statistics going forward, my Wyzant page is listed below, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you so much.